What would you do if you had everything ready for your visa? You show up, months of preparation behind you, and then you hear this: they lost everything. Meet Rob and Jilly, a couple from the United Kingdom who walked into their visa appointment fully prepared and were told their entire file was gone. And still, they didn't step back. And here's the key: their entire strategy was built around one specific visa, the E2 Treaty Investor Visa, a visa that allows nationals of certain countries to live and work in the United States by investing in and actively running a business. But this isn't something you prepare first and commit to later. You invest before they even evaluate you, your capital already deployed, at risk. In a real business you actively run, and even after that, they kept moving forward and built everything around the E2. So what does that journey actually look like? In today's video, Rob and Jilly share their full story: how they found a clear path, how they chose the right business, what really happens during the visa interview, and how they adapted after arriving in the United States. We'll also break down the key practical steps behind the E2 process, along with a quick quiz to test your understanding of how the E2 visa actually works. We've also added timestamps so you can jump to what matters most to you. Let's dive into their story.
Just a quick reminder, if you appreciate this kind of in-depth content, please take a moment to like and subscribe. It helps us bring you more content. Now, on with the video.
Finding a clear path.
But the first thing we decided when we decided we wanted to take this step was we checked on the internet. We knew a number of ways of doing this visa work, so turning a business, or putting in a parliament. And we went online and found two immigration lawyers that we quite liked the look of their websites, and we settled on one. And you clarified, that it's exactly as we thought. It was what we thought we had to do. The difference, I think, dealing with yourself was that you physically gave me a list and went, you give me everything that's on that, and 99% I'll get you a visa. And that's what I liked.
Every immigration journey starts with uncertainty. For Rob and Jilly, it began online, searching, comparing, trying to figure out what could actually work. At that stage, everything feels possible, but nothing feels clear. What changed everything wasn't more information, it was structure, a clear plan, what to prepare, what steps to follow. Because one of the biggest challenges in immigration isn't qualification, it's direction. And once that becomes clearer, everything starts to move. If you were starting this process, what would matter more? Having multiple options or having one clear plan? Tell us in the comments below.
Searching for the right business.
Give me all this, and that will virtually get you to where I want to be. After we started that process, we then took some more trips. So we then came in here specifically to look at a number of businesses. We came out for a week. And looked at about 25 different businesses.
Wow, that many.
We looked at old pile of houses. And we kind of knew roughly the location we wanted to live in. And so we came out beforehand. So before we'd even got the visa, we set off that process because we knew it was going to take 3 to 6 months to get down that route. So we came out. We kind of dropped everything, flew out for a week, found something that roughly fitted what you would need for us to go down the business visa route, which is what we're sat now. And we ended up buying this.
Once they understood the process, they acted. They came to the US with one goal: find a business that works, financially and within E2 requirements. Because here's the reality: you cannot apply for an E2 visa without already committing your investment. That means the business must already be selected, structured correctly, and aligned with the visa requirements. This is where many applications fail. Not because the person isn't qualified, but because the business doesn't meet the criteria. Rob and Jilly approached it differently. They reviewed dozens of businesses, travelled, made decisions quickly. Because with the E2, preparation doesn't happen after approval. It happens before you even apply. Be honest. Would you wait? Or would you start building early? Tell us in the comments.
They said my EB1 needed more categories. I can't even dock. What am I gonna do?
I need to find the right lawyer that can navigate me through this crisis. I need my EB1 so my new life can begin. These lawyers are amazing. They are walking me through every questions, making sure I don't miss a thing. Thanks to the law offices of Chris M. Ingram, I'm cleared to land. But my career is gonna take off.
Houston. He got his visa.
Need help with your visa? Book your free consultation now at www.breakthroughusa.com and let us take care of you.
Buying before approval.
So we bought a friend shop in Brentwood in Los Angeles, which does fit exactly around the visa credentials criteria. On that same trip, we found a house that we wanted to rent. Luckily, that house was still available when we decided to come out 3 months later. So we were just lucky. We actually came out, I think we came out, if I'm not mistaken, 3 months before we got the visa. When you move here for the first time, you're 16 again, moving high. But you have no credit. So you can't get a credit card, you can't get a loan, you can't get a car. You have to be a credit history. The bank will explain how to do that. And we were like, what, not pay off a credit card? And that's how you get your credit.
This is where the stakes become real. Before their visa was approved, they committed. They bought a business, started building their life. Because under the E2 visa, your investment must already be committed and placed at risk. There is no wait and see. If the visa is denied, the financial risk is already real. This isn't about certainty. It's about understanding the process and acting with a clear strategy. What would you do in that situation? Move forward anyway or hit pause? Tell us below.
The visa interview.
After Chris had done all the work gathering information, well, we did all the work gathering information and gave it to Chris. Chris put it in the right format. We then had to do an online form.
Let's do an online form.
And I'm guessing ours was a little bit different to most people, and you might not know this story. So there's an online form you then have to complete for the embassy.
Where you've been.
Where you've been.
All the countries.
So it's basically just the things that you've already given to you, but you've given it a pack to them. But you basically then get an appointment date once you've done this online form. They send you the date for your appointment, and that's your date. You have to turn up on that date. So we then fly back to England the day before. We stay in at the hotel next to the embassy. We turn up at the embassy at 8 in the morning, because you're going to be all day. And we get there at 8, and we were ushered through at 9, thinking this is great. And they went, we've lost all your online forms.
They lost everything.
You need to go off, do it all again, and come back another day. And I went, we've just flown in from the States. What do you mean come back another day? We're flying back tomorrow. We want our visa. They said, well, look, as a favour, because this is obviously our fault somehow, this form's gone missing online. So we left the embassy at 9:10, went back round to the hotel, filled the form out for about an hour and a half each, hit enter, hoped to God that they'd gone what was meant to go this time, and went back to the embassy. So he runs through a pile of questions that he obviously already knows the answer to, because you've given him all the answers, and you basically have to answer with exactly what you've written beforehand. So he will ask you, what's the business you own, how many people work there, and you've already answered all of this on all the forms you've set them to fill in. So you really are just reiterating.
When you're going for a joint visa, he asked Rob, then he asked me the identical questions. Yeah. So you have to make sure it is a real,
So at those interviews, all my advice would be is less is more.
Yeah, don't
say yes or no, and don't say anything else.
After months of preparation, everything comes down to one moment, the visa interview. And this is where many people get it wrong. It's not about explaining your case, it's about consistency. The officer already has your information, they're checking that what you say matches what you submitted. But even then, things can go wrong. Documents can be lost, systems can fail, unexpected situations happen. And in those moments, clarity matters more than complexity. Answer what is asked. Stay consistent. Don't over-explain, because small inconsistencies can create bigger problems. At that moment, would you say more or keep it short and precise? Drop your answer below.
Building a new life.
To be honest, it's not much different to flying as a holiday mate. Apart from you can now use the Americans queue, which is a lot shorter. So you can now use a residence queue because you're a resident, and it's a lot shorter than the holiday mates queue. When you get to the front, you still get the same questions. What are you here for? So to run a business over here is a little bit different from the UK. The laws are slightly different, and the regulations are slightly different. Again, my advice to coming here would be to do a couple of things. A, work with one of the bigger banks, because once you start to work with them, particularly for your business accounts, and
Next to the beach every day.
yes,
I do. Take the dogs for a walk.
we have a rule: you have to go to the beach once a day.
Play golf. Because you can. Because the weather is so lovely.
Your lifestyle's a lot different.
It's very different to England. Like, everyone lives outside here.
Outside is the phrase.
Yeah.
So would you recommend it?
Yes, would recommend it. Definitely.
Don't want to go back? No.
Getting the visa wasn't the end. It was the reset. Because moving to the US means starting from zero. Financially, professionally, personally. Take credit, for example. In many countries, your financial history follows you. In the US, it doesn't. You have to rebuild it. At the same time, running a business means adapting to new systems, new regulations, new responsibilities. But alongside that comes something else. Opportunity, a different lifestyle, more flexibility, more control over your time. And for Rob and Jilly, that made it worth it. If you could redesign your life in another country, what would be your top priority? Tell us in the comments.
At this point, you've seen how much of this process depends on decisions made early. Let's see how much of this you picked up.
Question 1. True or false? Buying a business in the United States automatically guarantees a visa. Answer: false. Buying a business alone is not enough. You must meet all the legal requirements of the E2 Treaty Investor Visa. Question 2. True or false? The E2 visa requires active involvement in running the business. Answer: true. This visa is designed for individuals who actively manage and direct the business. Question 3. What is one key step before applying for an investor visa? Answer: identifying and evaluating a qualifying business that meets E2 visa requirements. Question 4. True or false? Visa processes always go smoothly without issues. Answer: false. Delays, document issues, and unexpected complications can happen. Question 5. True or false? Building credit in the US is important for running a business. Answer: true. Credit impacts financing, operations, and long-term stability. How many did you get right? Did you get at least 3 out of 5? Let us know in the comments.
Rob and Jilly's journey shows that moving to the United States isn't just about opportunity, it's about preparation. From researching their options, to working with an attorney, to identifying the right business, every step played a role in turning their plan into reality. For many entrepreneurs pursuing an E2 visa, that process often includes choosing the right business, structuring the investment, preparing documentation, and building a foundation before the move even happens. And once they arrive, the journey continues. Building credit, managing operations, adapting to a new system. But when those pieces come together, the idea of living and working in the United States becomes something more than a goal. It becomes real. Because in the end, the American dream isn't something you wait for, it's something you build. What part of this story inspired you the most? Let us know in the comments and follow our channel for more stories just like this.